So, hello everyone, ciao a tutti, bentornati su Radio Italia 1 dell'AIDE. Io sono Simone Berliat e questo è AgriAdventures e stiamo qua a visitare Rachel McMillan. So thank you, Rachel, for having me here today. So what I was saying to our friends, you are the owner of Scoop, right?
Right.
And you just moved over here from another location, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
That is correct. Lovely. So, as I was saying, AgriAdventures on the Radio Italia 1 dell'AIDE, it's a program that speaks about food production and agriculture, but it's applied to what is hospitality and tourism. So what I like to do with this radio program is to make aware people in Adelaide that what is available in the area and why it's available. So not just speak about what is the product, but also why the product is over here and what we do this. Tell me something about you, Rachel.
Okay, I'm originally from country New South Wales. I grew up in a family that had a holiday farm, so we actually had guests that would come and stay at our farm, and my mum would cook for them and my dad would take out horse rides. And so I have a background in agriculture and in tourism right from when I was very young. I moved to Adelaide about 20 years ago and I was in hospitality. I'd been with big hotel chains in Sydney and in Adelaide, and then went on to a new chain and opened 5-star hotels. And then things changed in Adelaide and what was happening with the hotel scene, and I decided to start my own business, which is ScoopSA.
This is a big change, I can say.
Yeah.
Like, I can see the lights. Maybe you will remember a 5-star hotel, but the rest is not really the hotel that you were expecting.
My vision for Scoop was always to connect growers with chefs, and so that's where the concept of Scoop came about.
So how many producers are you working with at the moment?
At any one time we're probably working with about 20 different producers, but that changes throughout the years and with the seasons. So at the moment, the berry growers are just starting to come on board, and the stone fruit growers. And then in winter time we work more with mainly vegetable growers. There's not a lot of fruit that grows around here in winter. So it depends on what season, but I would say over the years it would be literally hundreds of different growers that we would work with. And that's everything from really big farms that are in large production and selling to supermarkets and interstate, to the lady that lives down the road that's got some lovely juicy lemons on her tree and she brings them in and I trade her for a produce box or whatever it may be.
When did you start it?
It will be in December, 15 years ago.
Wow,
Yeah.
so 15 years ago.
15 years.
How was it the beginning?
Tough.
Tough.
Tough, but exciting, because there was nobody else doing it. It's tough in that there was nobody that I could really, ask, how do you do it? Because there was nobody else doing what I was doing. I think over the 15 years, it's sort of been like this. And so often you feel like you're getting to a point and achieving something, and you can have another obstacle come in your way. Or one of the hardest things to do is continue to focus on the vision. So as a business owner of quite a diverse business, I've done catering, we do platters, I've had a retail outlet, 14 years ago, and I said I wouldn't do that again, and here I am 15 years ago back doing it. But I feel like this is the right time and the right place in which to do it, and the community is ready for what our store is now. Perhaps they weren't back then. So one thing that I did, I guess, teach myself to do is not to get too stressed by each situation and go, at the end of the day, it'll all be okay. It's just, it is a business and it is people's livelihoods. But so far, you got the business can go like this, but you need to stay steady and you need to stay, calm and be able to, inspire staff and stay dedicated and stay focused.
Like really, three things really interesting. That this one is no more, not that the other were not, but what you just said, you remind me how in which direction it seems that we are moving the most, which is like automation. Like all these shops now, you go in the city and you scan your own things, and then you get out. You even don't have to speak with people.
Yes.
And but you're speaking. What I see in the future is like people will come because they can see someone, they can speak, they can see. Oh, how do you use this veggie? How do you cook it? Like we have a similar vision. Like to me, because unless like we're gonna be people for people. Yeah, people with machine, it's gonna work for price, but that's not what we are happy about. This is my feeling.
It's a disconnection, whereas what we have here is a real connection with the food, how it's grown and who grows it. Exactly. And my daughter, for instance, who's 9 now, pretty much every meal that we eat, she knows, that's Bob's sausages, and that's Brian's zucchinis, and around the plate we know where it comes from. We can't really say who grows the rice that we have, but generally from a meat perspective, from a cheese perspective, dairy, any vegetables and any fruit, we know who the people are that grow them. And that's how my daughter has grown up. That's how I grew up when I was younger. And I think it really is an important part of the food culture in this region, and beyond. We want to grow it beyond.
Absolutely.
It's very important for us to have that diversity in being in food production, and having several different sites and different small climate zones is really important for the continuation of our food production. We do have specific things that we grow. Us as growers are specialty food growers, and our main customer is the wholesale market or the food service market, so restaurants. So chefs are constantly asking about different products, but also we develop a lot of products ourselves too, and not so much develop, but we have a constant interest in what we can get out of every plant and what products we can get out of a plant. So if you take, for instance, a radish, you can have a bunch of radish, 10 in a bunch, or we can grow it as tiny little radishes, which will go directly onto the plate without being even touched by the chef. They just look beautiful, and you eat them fresh in a little dipping sauce. Crunchy. Or you let them go to flour, and then all the flours are edible as well. And then when it goes beyond that, there's a little seed pod that is edible, which can be cooked up.
I wasn't aware about the seed pod.
Yeah, so there is, just within the radish, there's 5 different products. So we're value adding our products all the time. And
I strongly believe that people like you are helping to maintain knowledge, this knowledge of this connection with the planet, with the soil, and then also help to give the value. Because when somebody walking in a shop like this, they are considering to be open-minded. This is a farm gate shop. So it's a place where people come to learn things and enjoy things, not coming because they want to have oranges in the full summer.
Exactly.
And so that's why actually I came over here. And okay, so you moved over here in Penny Hills, and you moved, I believe, because the location, we are on the Main Street over here. So you were expecting to have more tourists coming over, or what you're expecting? Like, why do you choose over here?
Well, when we decided to leave the previous property, I looked around for the right place to go. And as I said, from a growing perspective and growing our product, it was very important, the water and the climate. But from a tourism perspective and from a retail perspective, as you say, this is Main Road. There's a gin bar next door.
Oh, okay.
There's a cellar door.
Interesting.
Further down. And there's a constant flow of tourists in this area. So it's not just our regular customers that are now coming and eating and shopping here, but we get a lot of people who are just wandering in, and so they get an experience of food from the region. They see some beautiful products. Have always looked at doing tours on our farm.
Okay.
and it's always been part of the vision, but organising that has been, you know, something that just hasn't got done. So thanks to meeting yourself, this is something that we can do now. And I guess that brings me to the point that this now is a business that's working with Penny's Hill Winery. We work with the gin bar, we work with students, which I haven't mentioned previously, but we have horticultural students that work within the business, and they're doing practical on-the-job learning.
So, well, at this point, what are you going to do over here? I mean, apart than selling veggies, do you have any plan yet for your experience? Like, or touristic, or what were you looking? You spoke about tourism. What would be the?
So the first option that we're looking at is edible garden tours. So as I said previously, we specialty growers in edible flowers, rare herbs, beautiful cress. So we would like to be able to take, whether it be somebody from Wollonga or somebody from Sydney, you know, on a food tasting experience through our garden and explain why we've chosen certain plants, what the use of that is, let them for themselves actually taste things. And you know, it's really interesting. There's a borage flower, for example, which is a little purple flower, and to me it tastes like cucumber, and to some people it tastes like oysters.
Ooh, wow.
Which are two very, very different flavors.
Yes, they are.
But it's quite distinct how, you know, people will go, oh, that's just like oyster, oh, that's just like cucumber. So I had students, as I said, this morning from the local high school who are all agricultural students, and I did a tour with them, and they were all listening to me. The teacher said, oh, they don't have a very long attention span, don't talk for too long. And they were all listening quite intently, but the minute they started tasting things, chat, 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 and a lot of excitement, and a lot of, you know, they'd never eaten flowers before. And then we were eating radish pods, and then we were eating the cress and the peppery tasting mustard cress, and it's actually really exciting for me to be able to see people, just their faces light up, and their, you know, through taste. And it's not just through taste, it's through looking at something that's very beautiful as well. And eventually for me, you know, I get to then go and, you know, sit in the restaurant, and my product is then being looked after and handled and turned into a beautiful piece of edible artwork by a chef. And eventually with our tours and our tourism experience, that long term will be the goal with this property, that it's a full paddock to plate experience.
Bene, spero che l'intervista vi sia piaciuta. Io penso che Scoop and Rachel, Penny's Hills, comunque quest'area McLaren Vale stia cambiando in un certo senso quello che è il turismo in Sud Australia. Spero di dare una mano nello sviluppare. Grazie per aver seguito la puntata di oggi. Mi raccomando, se volete lasciare dei messaggi potete mandarli a info@radio1adelaide.com.au, potete mandarli alla pagina Facebook, oppure potete mandarli ad AgriAdventures su simone@agriadventures.com.au. E naturalmente venite a trovare Rachel, perché è qualcosa che sta iniziando ed interessante. So thank you very much. And for the people that will follow us on YouTube, if the video is still working, unless they will follow us just the radio. Thank you.
Thank you. Grazie.
Thanks. Done.
Okay, ciao.
Ciao ciao.